You know him. He's a shadow in the night, a silent guardian, an icon that's been burned into our culture for, over 80 years now? We all know Batman. But the hero we see today, he wasn't just born in some single flash of inspiration. Nope. He was assembled piece by piece from forgotten histories, unsung creators, and a psychological depth that, honestly, is still fascinating. So today, we're gonna deconstruct the legend. And this is the oath. It's the core promise made by a little kid who went through the unthinkable. And that promise has powered decades of stories. It is the engine of the entire myth. But where did the rest of it come from? The costume, the cave, the very idea of Batman. Where did that actually begin?
That's really the big question we're tackling here. What does it take? We're gonna peel back the layers of that cape and cowl, almost like a documentary investigation, to find the hidden blueprints of this pop culture titan. Okay, so first, let's just lay out the official story, right? The one everybody knows. It starts, like all great myths do, with this profound, world-shattering loss. A wealthy family, a dark alley, and a senseless act of violence that accidentally creates a hero. These are the beats that are just seared into our collective memory. You know the drill. The murder, the vow, and then that incredible moment when a bat crashes through the window. This terrifying omen that he turns into his symbol. This is the bedrock of the legend, the official story, just as it was first laid out in the comics. But here's where our investigation really begins, because the idea of Batman, it was far from original. Its DNA is this fascinating mashup of literary heroes, pulp magazine vigilantes, and, this is the wild part, a silent film villain. I mean, think about it. It's such a strange combination, right? On the one hand, you've got the pure logic and brainpower of Sherlock Holmes, the world's greatest detective. But on the other, you have the straight-up gothic horror of Dracula, the creature of the night, the terrifying cape, the whole bat thing. It's like Batman is this weird, powerful cocktail of these two total opposites. So yeah, as much as literature shaped his mind and his mood, his actual methods and his look, they were basically lifted directly from the popular entertainment of the 1920s and 30s. These are the direct ancestors of the Dark Knight.
So the template was already there, you see? Zorro gave us the whole rich playboy by day, masked hero by night thing. The Shadow gave us that mysterious vigilante vibe, operating in the dark. But get this. The most shocking one is a 1926 silent film called The Bat. It featured a murderous villain in a bat costume who uses ropes to get around. That's right, the ultimate icon of justice was based on a bad guy.
So, we've uncovered the raw materials, this DNA from pulp and film. But who was the architect? Who actually put all these pieces together to create the icon we know and love? Well, our investigation now turns from the idea to the people and the story of a ghost in the machine.
This is staggering. Just look at what's on your screen. On the left is Bob Kane's original idea. It's basically a Superman clone with some stiff bat wings. But on the right is what the writer, Bill Finger, suggested. The iconic cowl, the flowing cape, the gloves, the grim gray suit. He even came up with the name Bruce Wayne. Finger didn't just tweak Batman, he literally invented his entire look and feel.
And this is where the story gets pretty tragic, because this timeline reveals a massive injustice. Back in the day, in the work-for-hire world of comics, you often just signed your rights away. Bob Kane negotiated a deal for sole credit, while Bill Finger, the creative engine behind it all, was left in the shadows. He died penniless in 1974. It took 76 years for DC Comics to finally give him his due.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. Even Bob Kane himself admitted it, late in his life. In his own autobiography, years after Finger was gone, Kane acknowledged the huge, uncredited role his collaborator played. An unsung hero, indeed. Okay, so we have the idea and we have the creators, but what about the man himself? Bruce Wayne's transformation into Batman wasn't just a promise he made as a kid. It was this grueling 2-decade-long journey across the entire globe to forge the perfect human weapon. And this was not a casual pursuit. Bruce Wayne's education was like a purpose-built curriculum for becoming Batman. He literally sought out the world's best masters in every single field you could imagine, from acrobatics in a circus to, get this, getaway driving with mobsters. And the details are just incredible. At 14, he's training in acrobatics with a family of the future Robin, Dick Grayson. By 17, he's studying detection under a master PI. At 19, he's in Brazil, learning getaway driving from an international criminal. I mean, this wasn't just about learning to fight. It was about mastering every single skill a crime fighter could possibly need.
So he's built the perfect body and the perfect mind. But the final piece of our investigation, it isn't physical, it's psychological. To really understand Batman, you have to understand his relationship with fear, with darkness, and with his greatest enemy. It's the one question that really gets to the heart of his entire persona. With all his skills, all his training, why dress up as a flying rodent? The answer is just a masterstroke of psychological warfare.
He weaponized his own trauma. It's brilliant, really. As a child, he fell into a cave and was terrified by bats. As a man, he realized that, quote, criminals are a superstitious, cowardly lot. So he became the very thing that haunted him, turning his own deepest fear into a weapon to use against his enemies.
And to go even deeper, there's this really cool psychological concept that fits perfectly here. It's called the shadow self, an idea from Carl Jung. It's basically the part of ourselves that we repress. Our darkness, our chaos, the ugly parts we don't want to admit are there. And in Gotham, no one embodies Batman's shadow more than the Joker. See, the Joker isn't just some random bad guy. He's a psychological mirror. He represents everything Batman is terrified of becoming. A man who had one bad day and just let the chaos win. He is the walking, laughing embodiment of Batman's own inner darkness. And this quote from the Joker just nails their whole dynamic. They're two sides of the same coin, you know, locked in this eternal struggle. The Joker understands that they define each other. One can't really exist without the other, because a hero is always defined by his shadow.
So when we deconstruct the Bat, what do we find? He's more than just a character. He's a patchwork of old pulp heroes, a testament to a ghostwriter's genius, and a profound psychological symbol. Which leaves us with one last question. What if the reason we love Batman so much isn't just about watching a hero beat up villains, but about seeing a reflection of our own struggle to confront and control our own inner darkness?